What if your deep calling for a baby in your 40s isn't actually about the baby at all? What if it's life using the most powerful longing you have ever felt to teach you something profound about surrender, trust, and who you're capable of becoming? What if everything you have been through on this fertility journey, every disappointment, every hope, every moment of uncertainty, has been preparing you for a level of spiritual maturity that can only be forged through this exact experience? Today, we're going deeper than fertility tips or age statistics. We're exploring what your soul actually wants through this calling and why the journey itself might be the real destination. I'm Julie Zhenning, and I work with women over 40 navigating their motherhood journey. But what I have discovered through over 25 years of this work is that the women who transform the most are not necessarily the ones who get pregnant the fastest. They're the ones who learn to use their fertility journey as a spiritual practice, a pathway to becoming someone they never could have imagined without going through this exact experience. If you have been on this journey for a while, you've probably noticed something. The person you are now is fundamentally different from who you were when you started. That's not coincidental. That's the real work happening beneath the surface. Today, I want to share with you what I believe is really going on when life gives you a calling this deep, this persistent, and this transformative. Let's start with a question that might feel uncomfortable. What if your fertility journey is actually a masterclass in surrender, disguised as a desire for a baby? The carrot that's tantalizing you to do the spiritual work, to do the deep inner work. Think about it. Before this journey, how comfortable were you with uncertainty? How skilled were you at wanting something deeply while remaining unattached to the outcome? How practiced were you at trusting life's timing when it didn't match your plans? Most of us were not very good at these things. We lived in a world where effort led to results, where planning created outcomes, where controlling variables produced success. And then fertility entered the picture. And suddenly, you're faced with the ultimate lesson in powerlessness. And paradoxically, the ultimate invitation into true power. Every month, you practice letting go. Every disappointment, you practice staying open. Every moment of not knowing, you practice trusting something bigger than your timeline. This isn't punishment. This is advanced spiritual training. You're being initiated into a level of consciousness that most people never develop. The ability to hold intense desire without desperation, to hope fully while surrendering completely, to want something with your whole heart while trusting that life knows what it's doing. Your soul chose this specific calling because it's the one thing powerful enough to crack you open to who you really are. It had to be something you couldn't think your way through, couldn't control your way into, couldn't force into happening. It had to be something that would require you to develop entirely new muscles, spiritual muscles of trust, surrender, and faith in divine timing. Every moment you have spent wanting this baby, you have been developing the capacity to hold paradox, to be completely committed to an outcome while being completely unattached to it, to love something before it exists, to trust a process you cannot see. These aren't just nice spiritual concepts. These are the foundational skills of a fully awakened life. Now, you might be thinking, but I still want my baby. Does this mean I should just give up and accept that it's all about the spiritual journey? Not at all. In fact, understanding what's really happening makes you more valuable to receive what you're calling in, not less. And let me explain why. In the spiritual tradition that teaches surrender and letting go, there's often a misunderstanding that desire itself is the problem. But what if desire, especially soul-level desire like this, is actually life's way of moving you toward your highest evolution? Your calling for a baby isn't an obstacle to your spiritual growth. It's the vehicle for it. The key is learning to hold desire differently. not as something to be eliminated, but as something to be purified, not as attachment, but as devotion. Attachment says, I must have the specific outcome for my life to be complete. Devotion says, I offer my whole heart to this calling while trusting life's wisdom completely. Attachment creates suffering because it depends on controlling what's beyond your control. Devotion creates freedom because it aligns you with the flow of life itself. When you stop fighting your desire and start flowing with it, something miraculous happens. You become a different person, someone who can want something deeply without being destroyed if it doesn't happen, someone who can hope fully while being at peace with mystery. This version of you, she's magnetic in a completely different way. She's not chasing or grasping. She's receiving from a place of wholeness, not emptiness. Think about the difference between these two women. Woman A is desperately trying to get pregnant. Every month is about proving something, fixing something, controlling something. Her energy is tight, anxious, focused on what's missing. Woman B is devotedly open to motherhood. She takes loving action from inspiration, not desperation. She's present to her life as it is while being beautifully available to what's trying to emerge. Her energy is spacious, trusting, anchored in her own completeness. Which woman do you think life flows toward more easily? This isn't about bypassing practical action. It's about taking action from a completely different place. Instead of doing things because you're afraid of missing your chance, you do them because you're honoring what you're called toward. You still see doctors, you still optimize your health, you still create the conditions for conception, but you do it all from devotion, not desperation, from love, not fear, from trust, not control. So how do you know where you are in this process? How do you identify what your soul is working on through your fertility journey right now? And how do you align with what's trying to emerge instead of fighting against it? This is where understanding your current spiritual archetype becomes invaluable. Every woman on this journey moves through predictable stages of spiritual development. Understanding which stage you're in helps you see what you're being invited to learn, what might be blocking your flow, and what your next step is. These aren't personality types, they're evolutionary phases. You might recognize yourself in multiple ones or finding yourself moving between them. The guardian has been doing everything right, but she's exhausted from carrying it all. Her lesson is learning that strength isn't about holding everything together. It's about knowing when to soften and receive support. If you're the guardian, your fertility journey is teaching you that you don't have to earn love through perfection. Your body isn't a project to be managed. It's a wise ally waiting to be heard. The seeker has researched everything, tried every protocol, mapped every timeline. She's brilliant and thorough, but her journey is teaching her that the mind can't solve what the heart and body need to heal. If you're the seeker, you're learning to trust your inner knowing as much as external expertise. Your motherhood journey is moving you from thinking your way through life to feeling your way through. The intuitive is awakening to the deeper layers of fertility, emotional, energetic, spiritual. She's developing sensitivity to what most people miss, but she's learning to ground that awareness in practical embodiment. If you're the intuitive, your journey is teaching you to trust subtle signals your body sends and to act from inner guidance, not external pressure. The queen has learned to lead her life from deep inner knowing rather than cultural expectations. She is discovering that her true power comes not from controlling outcomes, but from trusting her own process completely. If you're the queen, your fertility journey is teaching you the difference between giving up and letting go, between passivity and conscious surrender. The visionary has moved beyond personal desire into sacred co-creation. She's not trying to make something happen. She's aligning with what wants to emerge through her. If you're the visionary, your journey is teaching you to hold your desires as devotional offerings rather than personal demands. The oracle has transcended the need for specific outcomes. She has become a clear channel for life to flow through. whether that includes biological motherhood or other forms of creation. If you're the oracle, your journey has taught you that your worth and purpose are not dependent on any external manifestation. You are the blessing, regardless of what comes through you. Understanding where you are in this progression helps you stop fighting your current stage and start working with what's trying to emerge. Each stage has its own gifts, challenges, and invitations. None is better than another. They're all necessary stops on the journey to wholeness. Recognizing yourself in these archetypes is just the beginning, though. The real transformation happens when you start living from the energy of your archetype instead of fighting against it. And this is where having the right support and practices becomes essential. I've created something to help you identify exactly where you are in this spiritual progression, the Fertility Power Quiz. This isn't a typical personality assessment. It's a spiritual mirror that reflects back the energy you're moving through right now. This quiz reveals your current archetype, what spiritual lessons you're working with, and what your next evolutionary step is. More importantly, it helps you see your fertility journey not as something happening to you, but as something happening for you. You'll discover whether you're the guardian learning to soften, the seeker learning to trust your body's wisdom, the intuitive anchoring spiritual awareness into practical life, the queen developing sovereign trust, the visionary co-creating from alignment, or the oracle embodying pure receptivity. Each result comes with a personalized pathway to help you align with what's trying to emerge instead of fighting against where you are. You can take the Fertility Power Quiz completely free using the link in the description below. If you take the quiz and recognize that you're ready for deeper support in this spiritual approach to fertility, the Heart Portal Foundation Circle might be your next step. Foundation Circle is designed for women who understand that their fertility journey is actually a spiritual initiation. It's for women who want to use this experience to become the most awakened, embodied, trusting version of themselves, regardless of the outcome. In the Foundation Circle, we work together to help you embody the energy of your archetype, develop the spiritual skills this journey is teaching you, and align with your soul's timing instead of forcing your mind's timeline. This isn't about guaranteeing pregnancy. It's about guaranteeing transformation. It's about becoming the woman who can receive whatever life has in store for her with grace, wisdom, and complete trust. You can learn more about Foundation Circle in the description below as well. But whether you're ready for Foundation Circle or you're just beginning to explore the deeper understanding of your journey, start with the quiz. It will help you see exactly what your soul is working on right now and how to align with that process instead of fighting it. Because when you stop fighting your motherhood journey and start flowing with what it's teaching you, everything changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being a student of your own evolution. The women who complete this journey, whether they become biological mothers or not, are unrecognizable from who they were when they started. They have developed a level of trust, surrender, and spiritual maturity that serves them in every area of life. They have learned to want things without attachment, to hope without desperation, to trust life's timing even when it doesn't make logical sense, to find their worth in who they are, not what they achieve. These aren't just nice spiritual concepts. These are the foundations of a truly awakened life. Tomorrow, I'll be releasing a special podcast transmission called Healing Codes for Your Fertility Awakening. While today's video gives you the framework for understanding your motherhood journey as spiritual initiation, tomorrow's transmission will help you actually activate and embody these teachings at a cellular level. If this video resonated with you on a soul level, that transmission will help you integrate these concepts into your body and energy field through 4 specific healing codes. You can find the link to that podcast in the description below as well. So I invite you to take the Fertility Power Quiz and discover what your soul is really up to through this calling. See your journey through the lens of spiritual initiation rather than biological timeline. And remember, the goal isn't to get somewhere else. The goal is to become so fully yourself, so present, so trusting, so aligned that whatever is meant for you can find you easily. Your motherhood journey is turning you into the woman who can receive miracles. Trust that process, honor that becoming, and let yourself be amazed by who you're becoming through this sacred initiation. The link to the quiz is below. Your soul's wisdom is waiting to be revealed.